Okay, seems like we are live. And today is Ash Wednesday, and I saw too many poems about dust, dirt, earth that I thought I had to just do a poetry reading tonight, even though I'm feeling kind of crazy after the eclipse. So, we're gonna start this poetry reading on Ash Wednesday by The Root by Adrian. This is the weight, the pulse beneath stone, where dreams take root and consequence grows. Here, the world tastes of iron and rain, of bread broken, hands dirt stained, lungs billowing the simple grace of breath. You want heaven. But soil is the silence where seeds remember, where every prophecy must root or wither. This street, this skin, this hour, what you hold is what holds you. Gravity as blessing, flesh as covenant. Nothing escapes becoming. Not love, not failure, even pain, even hunger find shape at the surface. Bend lower, touch the dust. See how the light finds its way through all that is made and mortal. Here is the kingdom. No crown, no command, just presence. Clean as water poured, whole as a world you nearly forgot. Okay, so we got a really nice poem from Adrian. It's based on some themes that have been going around. Like he uh, really recommended a poem we're gonna read next. So we got some themes about seeds and dust going on here, but we also got the tarot. We got the card of the world, and this is a very symbolical poem. I really like it. Nothing escapes the becoming, not love, not failure, even pain, even hunger find shape at the surface. Really great poem by Adrian from the Loom. And let's check out some of the people joining on. We got Christian Chacon. We got a lot of people from the Cinema Club. Shout out to Martin Garcia too. We got Simon. We got brother Rob, who had like a great poem also this week. We're gonna continue with Methuselah by Garrett Van Landingham. And I'm going to read the description of the poem first because it'll give some context about what's going on, because the poem is kind of cryptic otherwise. The description goes as following. A Judean date palm, seed recovered from Masada, germinated after roughly 2,000 years. This poem tracks the actual biology of germination, resurrection as metabolism. The seed survives by consuming its own stored past. Methuselah. 2,000 years in Masada's dark stone pit, in a jar of pits, beneath the zealot's ash, unspent, refusal to rot, micropyle, the narrow gate, drinks the flood, the casing gorged past its seam. Gibberellin speaks one word to the sealed granary of the skin, one molecule. Enough. Aileron wakes. Flour dissolves the unleavened bread of the siege into sugar. The golden hoard consumed to break the tomb. The tomb is eaten. What it was is what it eats. Down goes radicula, white thread, blind stitch, anchoring quick to the void. Hypocotyl bends its shepherd's crook to shoulder the stone, vascular logic, twisting root to stem, the depth secures the vertical. The split stone yields cotyledon, pouring the ancestral horde into the leaf primordia, the fat of the dead spent, until the whole is hollowed, a shocked scale slowed into the silt, green alone. Okay. I really like this poem because it has this mixture of science, history, and ancestral, almost um, traditional philosophy going on with it. And I'm gonna read some of the comments. Like I comment. I made a comment on his poem, and Garrett answered this. Um, no, I'll read what's relevant. The 2,000-year-old seed is antiquity expressed as biology. Gibberellin is how resurrection operates at the scale of a seed, where the divine chose to work in total darkness before theology abstracted it upward into language that pretended to leave the dirt behind. The doctrine is in the dirt. The doctrine is in the dirt. That's like that comment is equally as poetic as the poem. So I wanted to read that also. And I'm not sure if theology left the dirt. I can definitely see like the inversion he's working with in this poem, how like a theology that rises from matter itself. So but Ash Wednesday is all about this. You are ash, and to ash you shall return. And remembering how um like we forget that science started as a form of spirituality, in a sense, from alchemy. And a lot of the currents that were going on at that time were very concerned about the spiritual aspect of existence. So this poem, I think, captures that, like the deep mysteries that happen in our matter. And even though the phrase we use is meant to um, teach us humility, humility comes from the Latin word humus, of earth. So this should not also make us forget how spiritual matter is. And the next poem is a collaboration between Vince Attuck and Will Price. It's a very long poem. I'm not sure if I'll go through it completely, but we also got some of these themes between spirit and matter going on, and it's really wonderful. The level of craft both Benz and Will Price show here is amazing. So I'll 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 try to go through the poem. Jean rocks ye smash for gravel gain, our shadows of these cloudy trains, of robes in men's yon palace doors, with all fringe looks to coat the floors. What hope ye with that flailing mole, smiting sand of ashen fall, mud for eyes and coins for teeth? Know ye well the gleaming heath? A palace of jade or an emerald sky, you fool below, ne'er asking why, barely will choose cavernous shade, and there darken utterly your celestial gaze. Do you not despise this Babel you have made? Not more than you, these walls God soon shall raise, and you could instead so readily have a home in me, but choose to kneel contentedly in the lonely scree. Pallor, pallor, crack mine hammer, beat back this harrowed clamor. Heaven's roofs are built for blinded men, deaf to man's dust, web making. Yet for this jest I rise to give ear. Let sweet suit mine toes in world-bound rows, that I may teach your clouds of man-bolts blaze, unsing your half-eyed stars, blink and then are gone. Earth and works begets witnesses, while those threads tightly knit flare headlong without pound song. Sun peeking over fire's pat lifetimes, so that man burns to breathe into himself, birth himself from rock unbound, then with crusted skins swim thick with cinders. This be my craft, my truth, to make it not, then make all anew. Solomon sap ropes flesh to time's sand. From there is builded church. Strong healed breath cultured in skin stone. What know ye of work when your hands never form proud-eyed stags to clip smoke of hell sunless? I learn of green worlds by my mossed hands, while you untwine wool through maze. Half bull, half food, on storm's shrine's thrall, being neither warm nor cold, but of slacked heart. Fickle heavens shall soon spit you out, while earth and dust is unmoved, not swallowing nor spewing, but reaching higher into dew's touching, so that Babel stands from flesh. What do I know of work? As if responsibility I've shirked, to be as I am the willful lilting of a thread as it falls fateward. And I know the compass you wield, and I have tasted the rivers of whiskey within you. Did you not know that I who pulled the lightning from your side? I applied it from your flesh of stone and up sent it there to the Maker to cast my righteous lot of judgment and expiate your dead earth. Tell me, have you never listened to the rollings of the wheat fields, or do you only heed the hateful stampings of your feet, the clangings of your spiteful hammers when the chisels like iron lamps bleat? Read me of your grinding stones. Look up your eyes to me. I will show you in the sky an ocean, in the heavens a churning sea. I, blindly bardic, tell your kingly rock formations to float away as chaff. Your resolution is as idleness to me, as with a scoff I pass over it my staff. Your denial as it floods, and I am the plague of blood. You are the ramparts of Moorish shores, and I am the wind that gives breath to your sacred geometry. Flesh though you are, I am your guardian of shame. Figs I bore you first, then hides. Now you seek rags. I gave you Alba Longa song. You belch like a dying hag. I've hearkened to thee, and see not but shaking fists. Thus you spake, all empty sea, and here I list. With one strike upon my stone, I burst skies with my fires. I stand with you toe to toe, hind-legged on fiends heaven sevenfold, seeking no strong footing, no kinship with you. If time's hellmouth is to be slain, then with you I must also do away. Now I lay my stake. What can weeping men know of songs that honey our Almighty? A blind barge may be, For you cannot see heaven's lace are first made with toothbooks before they may earn ears at our warden's gate. So now, stand with flat foot amidst rows of sour tongue cloud. Your words are lightning, buckled thunder. I pour ambles dark and dreary into whole salt foam steeds, fastened to whorish hard sheets. Turn mirksome nights of firebrand crumbs, tickly breath into fullest moon's beaten red. Hammer thy thunder into swarthy skies as your craft spoke heatless breeze. Rot upon your yarns. I cast those off with my teeth, so that man knows hell is forged from his own fingerheads. Man chose lobes of stone, not mead from your cold cloud. They chose to be bleeding water, gushing back to ash. Way soon was made steep. No laughter now for man, but mere stones for work's fruit. Man learned from his green world what shall be sweet. Their hands should feel all pains on earth before your hearth, drawn in days of yore. I taught man to hack down cairn holes, and in climbing, man put all stones underfoot. Keenness I kindled in his rib cage. So again I raise my hammer. No race of lambs man shall be, but tigers shall burn his reed in embers red and black. Chalked slabs shall tear him down to truth. Kneel to wounds of their making. Find life in my stirring stones. While your stars are placed upon earthen racks, bleeding there for Adam's drink, I give true bread to break, to raise bone houses from dusty death, whose truth you deny, though I watch it flash before my smithing like wits born from sickled smoke. I stand my ground, girdle your roof with bread's lace, so that all stand open-eyed to your golden maelstrom. Fast come to screaming fury with little sound. Pull down your falsehood, I say pull down, lest this thread you said should bury earthly man. Fracture, fracture me with flame. Your ambric ore is nothing without my angelic light. The luster of your marble is my gift. All the rest is your word plight. Do away with me? Was the spirit crafted from the rock, or did breath invite the mud to leap? From silence, song is born. Hence, you need my absence as inspiration. What good is a guest house without its fare of holidays? You buy for the assurance of hell, I for that of heaven. This twain both meet, fear and delight, for purging the bread of its Leben. Little rock, who made thee? Upon this boulder I shall build thee. From thence thou shalt fashion, as thy haughty heart bids. But empty vessels are cancer's rounds. 'Tis the spirited flame that makes a hearth a home. The thread must pall, must infect. What God wills you aim prevent. Who knows better? You, born of his hands, or I, born of his mind? The conceit of his plan, when the egret's silence is on my tongue, I send Solomon's temple born in my breathing in, lost in breathing out. Rubble though I throw ashore, or make my loan and quartz by war, fashion not can I these stones with the fearful symmetry of tiger bones. All right. I'm gonna leave it there. As Christian Chacon says, it's nearly 600 lines. It's quite a ride. It's quite a ride. It gives Meister Eckhart vibes because of his fixation of God as the soil. Yeah, it's a wonderful work, but Benz and Will carried in this poem. Just the lyrical aspect I find very pleasing. It's just a pleasure to read, and yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. All these poems about the earth, dust, ashes on Ash Wednesday. Um, it's both a time to remember mortality and also the miraculous nature of our bodies, even though it's made of these perishable materials. It is a miraculous thing. Okay, I'll see if I lost something in the chat. Still got. I might go ahead and read Rob's poem because it was also really nice. His collaboration. It's sort of a collaboration between Rob and Luciana. It's based on The Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch, which is a very interesting painting. It's um, it's a style that is it's almost maddening uh, in terms of the time it was made in. It has a very interesting backstory and philosophy going um, behind it. So I'll just read some of Rob's poem. Like it's a very collagey kind of post. So I'll read some of it. You spread my wings and call me open, and yet your eyes, pride and sweet delight. Who is the mirror? Who is the image? Who is the token? The doors have opened, they cannot be shut. Earth and sky are tongue tied by a ribbon of feathers. They dance to a sweet wind as it whistles through the hole in the breast of a mountain. Drink and be merry. The world is doubled in pond skin, a mirror on which the feather floats, a breast that feeds the horned beast, the womb of every scaled thing. Upon the hill, the dragon spreads its branches. My toes cling fast to your robe, and you hold me, for I am weak. How far are we now from all the mountains? But the womb has spread its branches, and my kingdom stand erect. Aren't they lovely? The first birds have fled, but my children dance around me. The wind no longer sings, but my children dance around me. They are the fruit of my song and the march of my feet. Their bodies split the pond as they lay upon my breast. See now their shadows in me dance. They are the pearl and the bird, and the fruit and its juices, fat and ripe. They eat from my branches. My berries break between their teeth, upon their lips. I am a fountain. Oh, if love is a blade that is sharpened by breaking, I am most loved and I am most loving. I am the bone of my song that is split by the songbird. I am spread into worship in the mouth of a lyre. I soar like the birds from the gallows. I scream in search of the mountains. I wait in the eye of a key for a door that does not open. I turn to you and listen, for my ears have been severed. Sing now, my child, my fruit. We need more music from you. Ah, such a lovely poem from Rob. There's beautiful images, very lyrical. Continuing, I might not attempt Luciana's poem because it's like a it's a little bit harder to read. It's like a cut up poem. But we had Luciana's Beneath the Lights. Um, the champions of mods have killed the last of the lamp. The only light comes from burning the eternally damned. What might that be? Your castle, your mill, or your bridge? Your soul upon the gallows gives a final, trembling twitch. The ears of God are severed, and marching through mud, pierced with the nonsense of the faithless that flood. That the blade advances, sharp as a wicked lie, crushing the gossipers into blood as it passes by. There is no exit, there is no outside. Only the shy skaters where the acheron is wide. They balance on the thin ice, holding in their breath, attempting the attempting double loops and axles in the jaws of death. All that you were is all that you're worth. No shame in the desert means no shame on earth. The ass melody is an instant hell. Oh, to be impaled in a harp, a lute, or a bell. Blessed not is the hand that gambles dice into debt. You are cordially invited to the damn quartet. We have madmen in every denomination spread on the table, and on there for your oral fixation. I shit you, yes, I added humans to my stew, said the bird prince, looking down from his commode view. You used to steal from the ones who had little. Now please shit all your gold and throw in some spittle. All is right, and now you're hunted. All swords and spears intentionally blunted. All animals take vengeance for the ruins and the theft on silly humans who murdered, decimated, and left. Okay. Yeah, brother Rob and Luciana's beautiful post. Cheers to you guys. That's about as much poetry I can read. I can already feel um, my verbal abilities decreasing. And yeah, just beautiful poetry this week. Got lots of good stuff flowing around. It's an eclipse season. It was pretty intense for me. Some really historical events in terms of my life development. If any of you guys want to ask some questions in the chat before we end this beautiful Ash Wednesday, I'll be glad to answer them. We got Lane Mercer in the chat. You guys got to check his work as a painter. It is absolutely beautiful. Rob has asked me to do some ekphrastic poetry soon, and I might be tempted to do some stuff with Lane Mercer's paintings. It's just really, really great stuff, and I hope I can do it justice. Okay, no questions. Then I'll just end it there. Well, how was your day? It was a very strange day. Like I never felt like I actually woke up. I felt really sleepy all day long. I had like a really intense workout session before coming here, and that kind of gave me some of the punch necessary to pull this off. But like I felt like I was just I just wanted to sleep all day long. It was a really strange day. Really crazy eclipse. Just interesting how these things affect us. Um, let's see. I'll scroll up. A Stranger Strands Day. Yeah, that's what we're all about. And you know, like you never know. You never know what these things will bring. United by the sky, I guess. Yeah, yeah. It's the astral music sheet we all dance to, and and it's fascinating when you actually like we were talking about this in we had like a Balinese dance theater class, and yeah, like we were talking about astrology and the effects of the eclipse. I don't know if you guys have any stories about how you felt these previous days, but yeah, it's fascinating, and I think as artistic people, we tend to be more sensitive to the things that are going underneath, right? Um, and it's okay, like it's a struggle as artists to you have to lead your life between two worlds, and that's really difficult. To keep yourself alive to the sensitive, more spiritual side, and try to maintain a sort of practical life too. It's really difficult. I ate too much. Christian Chacon ate too much before bed last night and also lost sleep. No, it's the opposite of a full moon. We just had like a new moon. So, but yeah, those things tend to be connected. Like appetite. The moon rules appetite, digestion, sleep, rest, all of these aspects, and also, well, the moon is really interesting. It it feels really vast in terms of how physical and how spiritual it can be. It rules incarnation in some sense in as a motherly archetype and nourishment and rest and feelings of security, but also the more um it's kind of like the boundary between things that don't exist yet and things that will become. So the new moon is that tends to be that period of absolute um darkness before things start to become again. Yeah, it's Ash Wednesday. Your ash, and to ash you shall return. Yeah, it's the interesting thing about the moon is it's hard to pin down because it's liminal. It's what um exists between different states, and that's what makes it always very um interesting to ponder about. What's the real moon? Is it the dark moon, or is it the moon that is visible by the sun's light? I have not read the lunar effect. Yeah, like in terms of astrology, there's like things that even science accepts in terms of the aspects of the moon changes that uh, uh, in human society, like during full moons, hospitals tend to be more busy. Like it's one of those things that affect human behavior very directly. With the planets, with the other planets, it's harder to describe scientifically their effects. But like the moon and full moons and the effects of the moon are definitely quantifiable in that sense. Yeah, and like the moon is well, lunacy. It like the hunter's moon, like it's interesting, like the crime rates, how it ties to criminal behavior. This aspect of like the hunter when it's um w- when the moon is illuminating the streets at night. Yeah, it's very relevant. Like in farmers, like traditional farming, what was also very tied into this astral, especially to the moon, um, to the cycles and how it affects growth. The moon is because the moon changes so quickly in terms of the other planetary influences. It's just it just represents so much change in behavior. Um, it represents moodiness. It represents all these um, mutability aspects of human nature and how we relates to our inner landscapes, but also how that affects the exterior, right? Like the influence of the moon is um, very noticeable, right? Like it's because it's both very impactful and very quick, right? Like in terms of like the ocean and the uh, I'm missing the word in English, but like the tides, right? Like you can sleep on the strands of the beach and and like the moon will just rise it up like this huge mass of water and it can be dangerous. It Interesting. It's so often overshadowed by the sun. I hardly think of the moon regarding growth. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic between growth in terms of like both the sun and the moon. Um I would say, yeah, like the moon in terms of like the maternal aspect of nourishment of has um I would say like a very symbolical correlation in terms of the feminine aspect, but like the sun, yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's interesting to think about it, like this dynamic between nourishment, like the male nourishment and the female nourishment. Like I'm gonna rant a little bit. I'm gonna think aloud a little bit because like all nourishment, all energy comes from the sun. Like the sun, the energy of the sun is basically both um, what the plants turn into nourishment, and then cows and grazing animals turn into fat, and then um, we get nourishment. Like all food comes from the sun in that sense. Like even milk, right? So there's like an interesting transformation of like the masculine energy being transformed into the feminine nourishing energy. Um, is there a particular reason you regard yourself as a solar point and not a lunar one, or is the moon somehow under the order of the sun? I would say it's mostly from a personal historical point of view, I think right now we need more of the solar archetype in the world right now, and it's something I personally aspire to. Like the solar archetype of self-sacrifice to bring life into the world is like an aspect of masculinity that seems missing. Like in terms of masculinity right now, we got more of like the Martian archetype about desire and getting what you want. Like the male archetypes and like the male role models we have is just people like the Tate brothers, like who are very Martian in this sense, right? Like who are pimps basically, and we are lacking the solar self-sacrifice aspect of masculinity, and I think right now we need more of that. Like in terms of like the values of the moon, I think we have like an excess of that, like of like a security, um, sense of nourishment. We are overnourished. We are over secure. We need to bring back a sense of mission and self sacrifice and so again, it's not necessarily like everything in terms of human life, both personal and in society. Is a term of it's a sense of balance, right? And then and between like the masculine and the feminine and the sun and the moon, it's an aspect of balance. And I have a lot of lunar poems. It's not that I don't think it's important, but in terms of what I think my aspirations and what I want to promote as values, it has to bring back the solar archetype, this aspect of self-sacrifice, of selfless combustion that has nothing in return and brings and renews life on earth because and brings clarity, right? A sense of clarity. We live in times of great lunacy in that aspect of great um lack of certainty and lack of direction. So I think we need to bring back the solar archetype to specifically to males. Like the sense of lack of direction in males right now has to do with this lack of solar archetype to look up to, and there's a lot there's a lot of discussion, obviously, because of this crisis in male behavior and male direction, and a lot of the proposals are going, for example, in the online world, we got people like Bronze Age pervert, and there's this sort of pirate ideal that again just follows the more Martian archetype of maleness, but it lacks this um, solar archetype that is more um, that is not about necessarily going to war and the warrior. It's about self-sacrifice. Is a Christian ideal of Christ of self-sacrifice, right? And we need this sort of a figure again, like in terms of like of the figure of the father and the son of the father. Um, we don't have a father figures anymore, and the father figure is something that is fractal, right? Like, and this is was how society was structured, right? Like that's why, well, at least in Catholicism, we call the priest a father, right? Like it's just like an art, like an fractal archetype that goes up the ladders. And so we got the father of the family, we got the priest as the spiritual father of the community, and we got the king as the father of country. And we don't have really any of those figures anymore. The father figure in the family is now um, relinquished to a sort of provider. They don't do any sort of teaching anymore. That's left to the schools. The the spiritual father is also neutered. Like even if you go, like even in most churches, there, like the authority is that it has in the community, it has dwindled, and especially in the political sense, we don't have any leaders that have this sort of fatherly virtues, like that you look up to, right? Like since most of you are Americans, we take the example of Trump, and like Trump is still this kind of like childish figure, right? Like it has it doesn't it does it does he does not have the maturity to raise up to the level of fatherhood, right? So yeah, some of my thoughts in terms of like the solar archetype, which I think is crucial for men and for society right now. Okay, we got Ellis Weens in the chat. What's up, Benno? Thought I'd say hi. I can't stay for the live, unfortunately, because I got to run, but I'll watch a recording of it later. No problem, Ellis. Okay. I'll Brother Rob, lunacy strikes a nice pun. Lol, pun aside, really loving this tangent. It speaks to the truth for sure. Those are really good points. I like the solar archetype ideals. Yeah, uh, it's uh, it's something we need to stand up to, and and and, and we live in a culture that has actively nurtured men, and the answer is not these self-asserting pimps that we are meant to follow, like in the manosphere. Is like it's sad that people think they need like a war to prove themselves as men, or to um really grow up in a masculine sort of direction. You only need to find out what your mission is, and pursue it with self-sacrifice and selflessness in that sense, right? Like and I think part of the art movement needs that, like realize that it's about sacrifice and not necessarily about getting something out of it. And this is something like I talked about something I thought talked about in my last stream. Um, Part of the liberal ideals of that we are raised upon, especially millennials, right? Like of the purpose of life is being happy and following your passion, and all of this stuff is really poisonous to man. Because the male ideal is not about find like happiness and pleasure and comfort. It's about finding what you're willing to sacrifice yourself for. And unless we're capable of redirecting male energy towards self-sacrifice, we'll not be able to change the dramatic suicidal curse we're in society right now. We need the male solar archetype of self-sacrifice in order to start bringing clarity, order, and sense of meaning and purpose in life again back to society. Okay. Well, we might be done with the stream unless anybody wants to ask anything else. I think I'll see you guys on the next talk. I really like um, reading poems. Uh, I have a high standard um, to raise myself up to with the poetry and tape like Josh Datko, but I still think it's something that's worthwhile having this more human interaction in terms of how we interact with the content that is put up in Substack. Um, Social media definitely does not play in our favor. We got a great community, and that makes it more than worthwhile to um, to continue um, working at it, even though it actively discourages meaningful attention to what we're doing. But the purity of the drive we got will make it all worthwhile. So thank you all for being here. And if you watch it later, God bless. And maybe you'll have a great night. Goodbye.